So in case you are just joining us, and just to make sure that you are in the right session, just a little bit of an introduction. My name is Jenny Elmakov. I'm one of the regional representatives of EUR-Access in ASEAN, in Southeast Asia. The European Research Council and the Thai Program Management Unit for Human Resources and Institutional Development, Research and Innovation, or what we fondly call PMU-B, of the National Higher Education Science, Research and Innovation Policy Council, signed in September 2022 a very momentous event, an agreement to foster mobility and cooperation. And so this initiative gives the possibility for top researchers supported by PMU-B to join an ERC research team based in Europe, which facilitates, of course, cooperation in similar areas of research. And this agreement is part of ERC, or the European Research Council's Global Outreach Strategy. So this webinar aims to inform about this new agreement, and it aims to explain to researchers the procedures on how to apply, as well as to show us testimonials of researchers and their principal investigators, their heads as well, on who took part in the same type of ERC-led initiative. So if it's your first time to learn about the ERC, of course, it was founded by the European Union in 2007, and it's the premier European funding organization for excellent frontier research. And it really funds creative researchers that are, of course, inside this room, of any nationality and age, to run projects across Europe and, of course, beyond. So for me, I am, as I said, I am from EUR-Access, and EUR-Access is an initiative also launched by the European Commission to promote research careers and facilitate the mobility of researchers. So it is a platform for researchers, as I said, but also of entrepreneurs, universities, and businesses to interact with each other. So please think of us as an all-in-one networking platform, your information tool for talented researchers like you, if you want to explore, having collaborations and partnerships in the European research area. So whether you are looking for insights into European research policy, funding programs and opportunities, or practical tips on how to pursue a scientific career in Europe, or if you want to build contacts and meet other researchers, then of course, EUR-Access Worldwide is there for you. So I'm on Twitter if you want to use that platform, at Jenny L. Mako, but of course, EUR-Access ASEAN is also in all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and my email is jenny.lmako@euraccess.net. So if you have any questions, please do get in touch with us. All right. So at this point, I am very pleased to introduce to you to talk about this ERC, what this ERC administrative arrangement is, and also an overview of this arrangement with PMU-B Thailand, the opportunities for Thai researchers, and also to introduce us again to the European Research Council. I want to give the room now to the ERC Scientific Officer, Davide Innocenti. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Davide, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, and the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny. I will share the slides with you.
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you see the slide?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. So good morning from Brussels. Good afternoon from all the others there in Thailand. I'm Davide Innocenti, and I work in the scientific department of the ERC Executive Agency, where I'm responsible for the implementation of ERC international cooperation and widening activities. Today, as Jenny said, I'll provide you with some background and information about the ERC administrative arrangement, and in particular some details about the procedure for expressing interest. The ERC, the European Research Council established this mobility program called Implementing Arrangements in 2012. But now, since 2012, those are called administrative arrangements. This is exactly the same program. Those are international initiatives promoting opportunities for scientists, non-European scientists who want to visit and collaborate with an ERC team. This is partially supported by the non-European agencies that are participating. Here you can have an idea of all the signed agreements. So far, there are 17 of these arrangements signed with funding agencies from 13 different countries. Each country can have more than one initiative ongoing. For example, Japan has 3 of them. And so far, more than 600 researchers visited an ERC project in the framework of this Implementing Arrangement Administrative Arrangement Initiative. The TIE Program Management Unit for Human Resources and Institution Development, Research and Innovation, the PMU-B, joined the initiative in 2012. And so this is the first year there is this new opportunity for PMU-B researcher to participate. Of course, new agreement can be signed every year, and this is the complete list of all the 17 arrangements that we have so far. All these arrangements have been signed by the European Commission, the relative third country research institution and ministries, and all of them are available at our page for additional opportunities. You find the link below. Now, let's give a look to how the mobility programs work. First of all, the ERC, we as executive agency of the ERC, every year launch an internal call for expression of interest, contacting all the eligible ERC principal investigators. The ERC principal investigator then will have 1 month to express interest to participate. And after the call is closed, we, as an executive agency, send a list of interested principal investigator to the third country funding agencies, for example, PMU-B. At this stage, the ball is within the third country-based funding agency and the interested researchers. The agency will launch their own internal call with different modalities. Could be a call for expression of interest, could be a direct call with lectures. They inform all eligible researchers that as applicant have to contact an ERC principal investigator to seek an agreement on possible research visits. ERC principal investigator can accept or not the research visit. If accepted, the ERC principal investigator and their host institution have to provide a letter of support to the potential visitor. Then the third country-based funding agency will evaluate the proposal and fund the successful one. At the end, the visiting researcher will have to plan and execute the visit in agreement with the ERC principal investigator. Now, there are a few participation processes and conditions that are common to all the agreements. First of all, the ERC does not intervene in the communication between the ERC principal investigator and the potential visitor. The selection of the visiting scientist is done by the third country funding agencies without the intervention of the ERC, and the visit should take place within the lifetime of the ERC project. So you have to visit this ERC project before the end of it. The visit has to be concluded before the end of the project. Of course, it is expected that the collaboration will occur in similar areas of scientific interest, and the visiting researchers may be incorporated into the research team of the ERC-funded principal investigator for the duration of the visit. I just presented you the general structure and processes and the main condition of the program. Now I wanted to briefly introduce you to the ERC PMU-B administrative arrangement. Very quickly, then more detail will provide later on with the next presentation. The PMU-B-funded researcher can participate through single and long-term visits. This long-term visit can be 3 to 12 months. The multiple short-term visits should be between 1 and 3 months. Travel and living expenses will be covered by the PMU-B, and the salary of the visiting researcher will be still funded by researcher, respective institution. The ERC will actually cover some subsistence costs on a per diem basis of other modalities, depending by the host institution of the ERC PIs that can be based in any country in Europe. So this may change depending by national law, regional law, host institution law regulation. Of course, any other eligible costs incurred by the host institution during the visits of the researcher are directly related to the research of the ERC project can be covered by the ERC grant. This is the state of play of the implementing arrangement, administrative arrangement. Anyhow, the idea here I want to show you that since 2012, since when the United States National Science Foundation joined the program, hundreds of ERC principal investigators welcomed this initiative. Since then, thousands of them expressed interest was researcher funded by country funding bodies around the world. This means that the program is concretely providing to researchers funded by their country to pursue a research collaboration with top scientists in Europe. Almost 600 ERC principal investigators expressed their interest to host a PMU-B researcher this year. I will give you now more detail about this collaboration offer. Here, you can look at the details of these potential visits. Indeed, here we represent the number of ERC principal investigator interested to host a PMU-B researcher per host institution, country, and by scientific domain as well. As you can see, all the scientific domains, science and humanities, physical engineering, life science, and also synergy, which is an interdisciplinarity opportunity for ERC grantees, are here represented. So, as I told you before, it is expected that collaboration will occur in similar areas of scientific interest. And from this point of view, you can notice that all scientific domains are represented for the majority of the country of the host institution of the grantees that express interest. There are principal investigators from 24 different countries willing to host PMU researchers. And what is very interesting is that grantees for all the ERC grant scheme participating. So from starting consolidator and advanced grants and synergy as well. So this means that you will have ERC principal investigator with very different experience that are participating and willing to host. So in conclusion, this administrative arrangement represents a vast and comprehensive collaborative offer. And this is translated in hundreds of ERC principal investigators that are willing to collaborate with PMU researcher in Europe. Thanks a lot for your attention. With that, I want just to close, remembering that you can find more information about the ERC mobility program at our additional opportunity webpage, and you can always contact us at our functional mailbox you find here. Thanks a lot again for your attention.
Thank you, Davide, for that wonderful presentation. I'm very happy to note that there's a lot of interest. There's an invitation from the principal investigators of ERC engage with international researchers. So I'm just wondering how we can perhaps nurture this invitation. What is the best way, maybe also for us to let them know that there are researchers from Thailand who are interested in their programs, like even at the initial start, like just to let them know that, because now if you look at the chat, there are interesting postdoctoral researchers working in chemistry and working in sustainability and other fields. So how do we also let the researchers know and maybe aid in the matchmaking in the process?
Yes, we sorry. As sorry, as you saw, there is a huge offer in terms of many different fields and in many countries. So in majority of the countries, all the domains are represented. So this means that the offer is really big. What we did is actually we transmitted to the PMU-B the list of these principal investigators that are interested. And they will, of course, circulate this to the eligible researchers. We organized that providing the abstract of the project for each of these, for each ERC project, and classified in domain and panels. So this means there is a further level of differentiation with details, with keywords, if the principal investigator provided them, that can really help the interested researchers to go through the list and check if there is any project that is actually matching the topic research. Of course, it is fundamental to have dissemination on the territory, and the involvement of local institutions, universities in Thailand really can help. And of course, from this point of view, we are always happy to help and support if there is the opportunity to present this initiative. I would be happy to participate in a webinar and or provide any kind of support.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Davide, for that. So if you have other questions, you can either put them in the chat, or you can, of course, use the Q&A function just right down below if you have questions for Davide or any of our other speakers. Also, I just wanted to share that ERC also compiles tweets from principal investigators, when they have an opening in their research team. So also take note of that. We also repost that from Euraccess ASEAN. So, but of course, we want to make sure that there are other avenues for you to get to know about this research. So thank you for now. Davide, please stay while I talk to another speaker. But thank you so much for that incredible presentation. And now I'd like to introduce you to another speaker, and it's important to get to know him because he is really one of those who would be probably your next research head. So we are very privileged to have with us, all the way from France, Professor Guillaume Hayat from the French National Center for Scientific Research. He is an ERC grantee, and I just wanted to talk to you, Professor, about your research. Can you tell us about your ERC-funded project?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to discuss about this great opportunity today. My ERC project is now over, but it was about the characterization of the bone implant interface using multimodality techniques. So the aim was to try to retrieve useful information on the interface between an implant and bone tissue. And so that's very important because that is really what determines the success of many implant surgery in different fields, such as, for example, orthopedic surgery or oral or maxillofacial surgery. So that was, that's kind of the subject of my ERC project, which is called
Indeed,
Born in.
fascinating, yeah, fascinating research for sure, and really at the frontiers of science. Can you tell us, Professor, how many researchers, especially international researchers, in your team at the moment?
Yeah, at the moment we are around 15. There are people coming from all over the world. So it's really very important for us to work in an international environment. We have people coming from Argentina, from Canada, of course, from Europe, and so that's really important for us to be international, because today, the research cannot be done in one single country.
Yes, that's true. And of course, science is inherently international. So the more international is, the more researchers you have from different parts of the world, the better it is, of course, for science. Can you tell us, Professor, how long the procedure was, to get an international researcher to join your team?
It was very quick in my case. I just received some forms to fill in by the ERC, as explained by David. Maybe, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes to indicate my preferences in terms of country. So in my case, I just choose all country because I didn't have, I'm very open to any country. And then one day I received different applications from researchers from South Korea. And then in my case, I received 2, and then I have to choose. So I chose the best one, and that was Professor Kwak. I'm very happy to have done this choice. Unfortunately, he cannot join today because he has a lecture, but he told me that he wished he could be here.
Yes, we did receive that email from Professor Yoon Sang-kwak. So Professor Yoon Sang-kwak is from the Kumo National Institute of Technology in South Korea. Of course, as active as he is in his research, he is also teaching, sharing his knowledge, of course, to Korean students at the moment. So, in as much as he wants to join us, he couldn't. So perhaps, Professor, you can tell us, how Professor Kwak worked inside your research team.
Yeah, I mean, in his case, it was really easy to work with him. He arrived, and since we already are an international group, he had no problem to find his place in the group. He was also very easygoing. So from a human point of view, it was so easy and so interesting to work with him. And from a scientific point of view, it was also very good because he had skills of, so we do biomechanics in my lab. So of course he had skills in biomechanics, but also in other disciplines such as AI, because in South Korea they are very strong in this domain, and so he could help us on this aspect in many different ways. So it was a pleasure working with him. He stayed in the lab around, I think, 9 months or something like that, or almost 1 year. I don't remember exactly. And then he went to do another postdoc. And thanks to this, to his stay in the laboratory, he could obtain a permanent position in South Korea.
Yes, I'm sure it opened doors for him. Thank you so much for sharing his path, coming from becoming part of your research team, and of course where he is right now, still doing wonderful work, of course. But I wanted to ask you, do you still collaborate together?
Yeah, we still do collaborate. We had after the project was over, we obtained a funding between France and Korea. So a bilateral funding. which is now over, but we are applying for another one. Of course, during the pandemic, it was not possible to travel, but I plan to go to Korea this year, and he will probably come also. So we have very strong ties, and we keep these ties going. That's the beauty of it. It's a long-term relationship that is taking place right now.
Absolutely. I always say it's the gift that keeps on giving, you know, this collaboration. So we are happy about that. I'm just curious, Professor, did you ask Professor Kwak why he chose your project in particular, apart from, of course, like, you know, the proximity with the work that he's doing, but have you ever, you know, talked to him about on the side, like, why did you choose my project?
Yeah, well, I think there was a nice fit in terms of subject, but also it was not exact. I mean, he felt, and I agree with him, that he could learn from us, and that we could learn from him. So that's a, you know, a bilateral relation. You know, like it goes both ways, and that's really I think that's one of the reasons why he chose to join us. That it's, and also another point is he wanted to discover Paris, so that's also
yes.
another more personal. But that's also important, you know.
Of course. We're just in Paris a week ago, and it's always, Paris is always a good idea. I think somebody from a movie said that, but it is, of course, absolutely true. You discover a lot of things about Paris every time you go. So may I ask you, Professor, finally, to your, you know, message to the researchers who are in this room and who will also watch this video later. Perhaps, you know, any personal tips for potential applicants, and maybe your invitation as well to them to join the research that you do and also beyond.
Yeah, I mean, my tip would be really to apply. It's a wonderful experience, at least in my case. So I think it's a good experience for the applicant, but also for the ERC team. And in my case, if there are any people working in biomechanics and wanting to join us, although I know that the project, the ERC project is over, but I'd be happy to consider collaboration with Thailand, which is a very nice country as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Professor.
So please contact me if it's if you have skill in biomechanics and acoustics.
There you go. There's invitations from Professor Guillaume Hayat. Thank you so much for joining us from the French National Center for Scientific Research. He's an ERC grantee and has had, you know, international researchers in his team. And there is a standing invitation even beyond the ERC grant. So there you go. It's, as I said, it's a gift that keeps on giving. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. There are some questions in the chat, but we'll get to that later. But at the moment, I want to invite here, of course, from the Thai side, and congratulations to Thailand for this administrative arrangement, this incredible partnership with the ERC. And of course, Thailand has been doing quite a lot, actually, in really making sure to nurture, you know, their generation, this current generation and the next generation of excellent researchers and scientists. So I now invite the Deputy Director for Global Partnerships, Program Management Unit for Human Resources and Institutional Development, Research and Innovation. Well, quite a mouthful, but we fondly call it PMU-B. Assistant Professor Dr. Worajit Setafun, or we fondly call Sai, to tell us about this arrangement with PMU-B, how to apply, who is eligible, the timing, the support that's given to researchers, and also about, you know, to answer the researchers' concerns. Just to let you know as well that Dr. Sai also has her incredible team inside this room. So I invite them as well to answer the questions that are in the Q&A box. And yes, now the room is yours. Dr. Sai, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you so much, Jenny, for your kind introduction. And good day, everyone, and sawadee ka. Okay, on behalf of PMU-B, we are so honored to be a part of the the AA here. And then we got the list of the interested PI, over 600 interested. So we go through the list and trying to do the grouping, and I'm so excited to share with our Thai researchers as well. So how about I'll just do a quick sharing of my presentation, just to give us some guideline and information for Thailand. But the official call and official details will be coming soon, coming very soon. We're trying to iron out the kinks and everything. So for our ERC PMU-B administrative arrangement, we're so honored. And then this is a great opportunity for Thai researchers to have research visits and have potential collaborations with the European research team. So we have allocated funding up to 10 researchers annually. So with what we've seen that it can be both short-term visits or long-term visit, no more than about 1 year or 12 months. So let me talk about the topic first before I go to the timeline. Since there are so many topics, okay, that the PI sent in and they separate out in different panel or theme from ERC. So for PMU-B, we try to group them according to PMU-B priorities. For us, the first, what we value is the frontier science. So there are a few of the grouping of the topics, because I see in the chat, a lot of researchers have say, I'm like expertise in this one, I'm interested in this topic. So please look if your topic are in this kind of specific area that of our priority, you are really, really welcome to invite you to participate and send in your concept proposal of so we can work together. So we have the topics such as frontier science, in fundamental constitution of matter, condensed matter physics, computer science and informatics, and so on and so forth. And then also earth system science, earth space, biotech and biosystem engineering. Not only that, for Thailand, we also, our goal is in BCG, which is a biocircular and green economy. Our topic for Thailand, we split into health, for example, like personalized health, and then also for future food, and in climate change is net zero program. So we try to look through the topic that would be fit our Thailand core theme as well. So a lot has been going, focusing on health and medicine, and some on environment, and also more of the interdisciplinary like human mobility, environment and space, and synergy. So there are a lot of research. It can be both more in-depth or frontier science, or more integrated approach as well. So which we do welcome both sides of the research topic. And the last one is we want to promote a lot of this. So our goal for the social science people, we call this theme called SHA, SHA, social science, humanity, and art. And we hope that under this, we can have exchanges in the topic of culture and cultural production, the study of human past, the social world and its diversity, institution, governance, and legal system. We do understand that most of the funding or PMU-B, maybe you can see is more on the science and the frontier side, but we do promote the social science area as well. So we hope that we can reach out to the social science, humanities, and art expert and researcher so they can join our program. Okay, so let me explain a little bit about our tentative timeline. So this is the goal of what we're trying to promote right here. So today it's our first launch. So you can see the feel, the idea of what ERC AA is all about regarding to exchanges and testimonial from the PIs of what benefit we can and the collaboration cannot come out with. So for our timeline, and PMU-B plan to officially launch the open call for the researcher to submit their interest in the program, which is going to be on around the end of March. And then we're going to hold another info session. So this info session will be in Thai, okay? So it will be in Thai where we can explain the application process and concept, and then the different topics and keywords for that we have available for the Thai researchers, okay? And the deadline for the submission of the interested concept proposals and your CV would be around May 8th, which means that, I'm sorry, we're not opening the list into public, so you can't download all the list of the 600 abstracts and PI contact point of PI researcher. We would like to see your interest at first, right? We got interest from the PI, and now we want to see the interest from the researcher, and we're going to match you together in the sense of match the kind of pool for you together. So after May 8th, we're going to have another info session, the second one, where we will show the list of the grouping of the list. So if you're interested is in maybe hydrogen physics, right? So we can share you the list of the frontier science one. Or if your interest is in maybe medicine wise or looking into the neuroscience, we're going to share the list for the topic for health and medicine for you. So that one it's going to be sharing per specific researcher like that. So we can't like share it all of it. So in May 15, we're going to explain regarding to lists, and then regarding how you may be able to contact the PI and then get all the information necessary. So you'll have about from May, January, March, April, May, June, July, August, to July, from May to July, for you to be able to contact the PI in the Europe, and then also develop your full proposal. For this full proposal, meaning that once you have the topic and you're with your interested PI, we want to see what you want to do there. What's the activity? How long do you want to stay? What do you want to get the outcome out of? What kind of capacity or skill sets do you want to develop yourself? So you have to write the full proposal of the activities and what you expect that you will deliver from this program. So after the end of this program, will you have maybe a publication together, or what will you receive after the program? Okay, so after you submit the proposal from the deadline, PMU-B will have the internal evaluation process and then going through everything, and we'll have the award announcement by October. And then the contract will be done in November. So you can have, looking at the timeline, and you'll be ready based on after the contract started, you can like plan to do your stay for next year. So this is our tentative timeline, and we hope we can stick with this, and it will be the fiscal year, the next fiscal year for our budget cycle. So this would be sync with our budget cycle as well. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'm willing to help. Wait, are we in the Q&A session yet, Jenny?
Yes,
or this is basically the idea of what I'm doing?
We can jump into that, of course, but let me bring back also Davide and Professor Hayat, so we can have this conversation as well, especially since there are some questions that are also would be nicely answered by them. So let me add them to the spotlight. I hope you are looking at the spotlight like me. Okay, let me add one more. Okay, there we four are. So there are some questions here, and thank you so much to your team for answering most of them. Maybe Davide, I'll start with you because of course this info session is specific to Thai researchers, but we have some non-Thai researchers that are also very interested. So perhaps you can explain a little bit about, if they are not Thai researchers, how they can collaborate perhaps, so the other participants in the room will also take home something that they can think about joining the ERC.
Yes, in principle, the idea for this kind of initiative is to open up to collaboration with non-European funding bodies. We actually, as I said before, we have 13 countries which are now participating with 17 different host institutions. The eligibility criteria is not strictly linked with nationality from our side, but it's really depending by each implementing arrangement, administrative arrangement, how was actually designed from scratch. So in terms of nationality, the ERC is open with our own grant to all the nationalities. So it's not important to be European to apply for an ERC grant. Important thing is that this kind of project and those institutions where the researcher want to pursue the research have to be in Europe, unless we are talking about synergy grant. In terms of synergy grant, one of the PIs is allowed to be based outside Europe. But this is a particular grant where you have the synergy indeed between 4 different principal investigators, up to 4 principal investigators, and indeed one of them can be based outside Europe. We have as well 2 other scheme initiative concerning ERC. One is a mobility program called Visiting Fellowship Program, but this is open to European countries. The idea there is that we want to provide support to some of the countries that are actually underperforming in terms of ERC grants. And so if the host institution from this country join, researchers from these countries can actually participate to this mobility program and visit an ERC project in a very similar way to the administrative arrangement. We also have a mentoring initiative, which is instead a little different. The idea there is to provide support to researchers who want to apply for an ERC grant based again in Europe or associated country, and where the funding bodies actually participated to a program. In that case, the ERC grantees will have the chance to provide their support to potential researchers that want to apply to an ERC grant. Yeah, so this is the comprehensive offer that we have right now. So there are many different ways, as you can see.
Yes, absolutely. So many different ways. So may I advise those of you who are here who may not be Thai, don't get discouraged, because there are opportunities for you still to collaborate. And I'd like to direct you as well to the info sessions that we've had with the ERC on the different grants. You can go to the YouTube channel of EURAXESS ASEAN to review, those opportunities. And in the next months as well, we will do other info sessions on the other grants that are available. So don't worry about it. So thank you so much, Davide. I'd like now to go to Dr. Sai. So there are 2 questions here for you. I'll read them. First is from Thanet Pitakbut, who says, I would like to know about the budget that PMU-B will support, like traveling costs, and I'm not sure what a bench fee is. The bench, I always associate it to exercising, which I should do more of. But anyway, this is eligible for PhD student, postdoc, lecturer, Also, what is the expectation from this project? Is it a publication? And if yes, what is the criteria? So a lot of questions for you, Sai. Only T1 or Q1 is also okay. And then from Sirijit Sunanta, a question, the process seems to take a long time. My PMU-B project will end in October. Will I be eligible to apply? So Dr. Sai, please.
Okay, so the first is that the eligible person to apply, it would be a Thai researcher. Okay, it would be a Thai researcher. So you don't have to already have a PMU-B grant to apply. So that's the one, because Dr. Siri did say that your PMU-B project will end in October. So it's a different program from your research program. The budget that we will support is travel. So it's flight, right? And then also the stipend. So the stipend, we're trying to look at, well, depends on the country as well, but it would be in the range of 15,000 to 18,000 euro per month. So that would be your living costs, your housing and everything. So PMU-B will support that. However, for bench fee, it's part of the research costs. So the research team that you will be joining will be absorbing the research part, which means that PMU-B only provide funding for logistics and living expenses only. Yeah, about that. And then what else? For PhD student, postdoc, Thai, we would like to be, you already have a PhD already, so not the student won't be available to apply. So we would like to focus on the researcher that you already have a PhD. The other question would be the expectation. So the expectation that we see that, well, we try to be realistic. It depends on the time frame that you will visit. So if you visit long-term, we expect that you would get the publications out of it if it's long-term. But if it's short-term, maybe you can get some, depending on the activity that you want to see. If you can learn about the technology, learn about new process, or having built up your own skills, researcher skills, that would be great. Or if you attended a few conferences with them, that would be great. So usually PMU-B, our publication for other frontier research program, we expect to be in tier 1 or Q1. That would be great. It would be preferred. So when you write your proposal, you have to propose from the duration that you're doing research, what would be your expected output. Be mindful that it's a highly competitive, so we do compare your the applications and output as well. So the criteria we want to see is that the profile of the researcher that want to go and to do a visit, and what you will learn out of it, and what you want to get and come back, and what you're going to do after you come back. And also, will there be a potential collaborations in the future? Like what Professor Guillaume said, that he still keep in contact and you get funding together. So in the future, maybe there possibility PMU-B can help assist with the funding or of the researcher if the research that you develop is in the priority that national priority as well, like that. So with like, I think that's it. Another question was that also support publication fee. Actually, based on the administrative administration, we focus on the stipend and the travel costs, but we won't support the publication fee. It's not a research grant, it's a travel grant. So
Okay.
but we do expect to get out of it, well, some outcome out of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's
Okay. Is that a good question? Yeah.
Yes, I think that's good for now. If there are other questions, of course, as Dr. Sai was saying, there will be an info session, especially for Thai researchers, where you can ask more. But before we go, I would like to give the floor again to Professor Guillaume Hayat, perhaps to encourage once more our researchers in the room about this ERC grant. So Professor Guillaume, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it was a great opportunity for us to welcome, in our case, it was a South Korean researcher. I mean, as you can see, there are ongoing collaboration way beyond the ERC grant. So it was very good for him because it allowed him to have a permanent position in South Korea. So that's a strong point of motivation for the postdoc. And I think it's well, at least from my point of view, if you want to do a postdoc, it's better to do it abroad. And then if you do it in an ERC with an ERC grantee, then you are sure that of the quality of the research that will be carried out. So definitely, please apply.
Thank you so much. Davide, would you like some parting words as well?
Yeah, I just want to underline the fact that it is really, I believe this is a great opportunity, and such a wide and diverse offer of collaboration. It's really something unique. 600 top European researchers are willing to collaborate. I think it's you have a very good chance to find a topic of mutual interest with a fantastic team here in Europe. So it's worth it to try.
Absolutely, it's a big opportunity. I wish I knew about this when I was doing my postdoc. But Dr. Sai, please, I'll give you the floor as well to bring us home.
Unmute. So thank you so much, Jenny, and all the speakers. To the researchers, please have a look out in our website and our Facebook when we launch, and then we'll have the call announcement with all the information in there. It would be like in English, and then we'll see if we can, and we're going to have a Thai info session where all your questions will be answered. Okay, so please keep a lookout, and then maybe just see, think for yourself if you have an opportunity to go with the ERC funded researchers and to learn and to exchange what kind of topic, what activity you would like to do. So your like dream wish that you want to be. And then just think about that. And then please keep a lookout in our website for PMU-B and our Facebook. Then hopefully we'll get a lot of applications. Okay.
Yes, indeed. And as I understand it correctly from Dr. Sai, you were saying that you have a list of the PIs, right, who are interested. So just to answer Nuta Chai's last question and here, so they have a list. The PMU-B has a list. So please also attend the info session that they're gonna have. So Professor Guillaume Hayat, Davide Innocenti, of course, Dr. Sai Setapun, and the PMU-B team inside, and all of you participants here, please share, of course, to your contacts as well. We're also postdocs and looking to be part of frontier research, frontier science, where excellence is the main criterion, if not the only criterion. So it's a big opportunity. So I also would like to thank Rosaria Carbone of the European Research Council for gathering us together. So this is just a start, of course. Please keep in touch with us from wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day and take care. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you so much. I'll just take a quick photo of all of the speakers. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye. สวัสดีค่ะ